his first introduction. Hey, this is my producer Zaytoven. He don't drink, he don't smoke, he don't cuss, he play organ at church. It's like, bro, why you gotta say all that? Like, I am the lead musician of the church, and I've been here for about 11 years. You know, it's always a place for me to go to get back balance and focus. If the music stuff got taken away from me tomorrow, it's like, oh, that's cool, you know? But I don't know how I would function if I feel like, okay, now you can't go to church no more for the rest of your life.
Have a break, Zaytoven, Zaytoven on the beat. I'm ready to sign them papers. Versace, I love it. Versace, the top of my Audi.
Depending on who you ask, you get a different name when posing the question, who invented trap music?
But the words trap and music had never been combined to describe a sound before August 19th, 2003, which is when my album Trap Music was released.
You know, I was the one, I was the trap king. We started this trap music. I started this. It could be, I could play 15 songs in a row right here on your show with me talking about trap this, trap this, trap this, trap. You know it, Mike. And you'll still have people that first started listening to music when Tip came out, or Jeezy or Gucci, and they'll argue down to the T.
Trap music, who we giving the creator title to?
Man, listen, dog.
T.I. says him.
He can have it.
He have it?
Anybody else who want it. Man, I'm a king, man. I don't got nothing to do with that shit, man. Like, at the end of the day, it's just like, bro, I tried my whole life to get out of trap. I don't want to see it again. I don't even want to connect it to me. No disrespect to my people that's out there grinding. I just want to show them a bigger and better way.
But there's one man that has dropped the most hits and received the most recognition in the trap genre. And that man is Zaytoven. This is the story and how a Christian man from Germany became the godfather of trap music. Xavier Lamar Dotson was born January 12, 1980, in Frankfurt, Germany, at an army base where his father was stationed. Not long after, the family would move again. This would be a reoccurring theme for Zay and his family.
So I went to elementary school in Mississippi, then I went to middle school, like my first year of middle school in Mississippi too. So we went from Grenada, Mississippi to Jackson, Mississippi. You know, my dad was in the military, so I was moving all my life. I was born in Germany.
What branch?
Army.
Spending time in places such as Louisiana, California, and Georgia, all places with strong hip-hop roots, most likely resulted in Zay's unique and legendary sound. Quote, no matter where we went, we were in the church, end quote, Zaytoven told Complex. Church was a staple in Zaytoven's life. Even to this day, in churches where Zay fell in love with music and learned to play the piano, drums, and other instruments.
So when I first started playing, and I don't think nobody identified I had a gift, I was just in church so much in Mississippi that you don't really got a choice but to find something to do while if you at church 4 days a week, it's like, bro, and as a kid, I gotta find something to do. So naturally, if you're in church and you just want to play some music, you're going to start out with the drums. I started want to play the drum. But me and 7 other little kids want to play the drum. So now we got to take turns playing songs. Now I'm like, bro, I don't want to wait around and play one song. So I started hanging out with the guy that's playing the organ.
His mother, Laura Dotson, was choir director, and his father, Joe Dotson, when he wasn't on duty, was a preacher. Zay still goes to church to this day and takes his Christian faith very seriously. While trap music is often associated with explicit content and tales of selling drugs, Zaytoven's unique sound has carved out a space for him in this genre. Hailing from Atlanta, he's taken the foundational trap sound pioneered by Shawty Red and transformed it into his own signature style, catapulting dirty trap beats into the mainstream. But here's the twist. Despite crafting beats that embody the essence of trap, Zaytoven isn't your typical trapper. In fact, he's the exact opposite, proving that there's a benefit to challenging yourself and getting outside of your comfort zone.
Now, you yourself are a Christian.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to church every Sunday?
Yeah, I play the organ every Sunday.
Okay. So you don't drink?
No.
You don't smoke?
Nope.
You don't use profanity?
Nope.
Okay. How does that work when you're around someone like Gucci that's on the exact opposite of what I just talked about?
It's funny that the guys, I think God done put me around almost the craziest people that you know he can find, really. Like the people that do the total opposite of what I do. But in that, I think being in that position is what makes me unique, or give other people an example of something to look at, to say, you know what, I do all this, but this guy's not like this, or maybe I can be more like this guy right here.
When Zay was a kid, he wasn't allowed to listen to rap. His parents felt that the vulgar and sexually explicit lyrics were not something a young Zaytoven should be listening to. Quote, sometimes I fell asleep with rap music playing, and my dad would come in the room heated mad because of the words that were coming out of the stereo, end quote.
And I wasn't allowed to listen to music. I wasn't allowed to listen to rap because, you know, it was a whole lot of profanity in the music. You know, my dad's a preacher, my mom is the choir director, so I almost had to sneak and listen to it. You know, I remember my cousin playing Dre Day for me in his Walkman, in his headphone. I just remember hearing it, and I just wanted to hear it just over and over and over again.
That beat.
Just the song just had me stuck. Like, man, I almost got addicted to it. So, you know, once, you know, after Dre Day, then the Chronic album, then the Snoop Dogg Doggy Style album, so I just started getting like just stuck on the music. Like, I couldn't live without listening to the music.
Fast forward a bit, while attending high school in Atlanta, Zaytoven started playing the keyboard at local high school games, performing for the crowd.
My buddy JT, the bigger figure from the Bay, he was like one of the biggest bosses, you know, in San Francisco at the time. He seen me playing the keyboard at the football game and came to me like, hey bro, I need to get you in the studio.
But I met him at the football game, and it was the last game, Galileo against Washington. And goddamn it, Galileo won. And he ran out on the field with the keyboard that looked like it looked like a guitar almost. But he playing Ludacris. Move, bitch, get out the way. He got the nigga on the drums. He got the motherfucker on the horn. But he playing the keyboard part. I say, is they playing Ludacris' whole song that just came on the radio? They got the song already for school? Yeah, nigga, that little dude right there, he know how to play anybody's shit. He played, nigga, and then the band just find the key and jump in whatever he do. So they played a few more songs. I say, I gotta meet this little motherfucker right here.
Zay already had the raw musical talent, but JT showed him how to translate that and form it into actual beats. Zaytoven sold his first beat to a friend while still in high school. After graduating, he started cutting hair and selling beats, using that money to transform his basement into a studio. All the local talent could be found there, which back then, someone having an in-home studio was unheard of.
When I first actually went to Zaytoven's mom's house and found out Zay had a recording studio in the basement, it was like shocking.
I thought we was gonna pull up at some, you know, like a building with a suite in it. So when we pulled up at the house, like, oh, okay, we'll go in. I'm like, boy, this your mama house.
They would come in all times of the night.
The street was getting full with cars, and driveway was getting full with cars. Man, he got busy.
One of the people that came by was Roderick Davis, who later would be known as Gucci Mane. A classmate at the Barber Academy introduced Zay to Gucci Mane. Believe it or not, Gucci was not interested in rapping back then. He brought his nephew Buddy to Zay's studio to record his song Lil Buddy that Gucci had wrote for him. Although Gucci was only there to help his nephew and wasn't interested in a rap career, when Zaytoven heard Gucci Mane's flow, he knew he had something.
You know, he a street guy, and he got his little nephew. Gucci wrote a song for him. His name was Lil Buddy, and he wrote a song for him called Lil Buddy. Like, I need you to make a beat for this. Like, you know, I'm gonna pay you to make a beat for my little nephew. And so I made the beat. Gucci going there rapping him, trying to teach his little nephew how to do it. But I was like, dang, like he sound hard. Like, you sound like, bro, you sound dope. Like, you need to do this song. You sound like a real artist. Yeah, you sound like an artist.
After Zay convinced him to take the music seriously, their rise to the top began.
It turned into, for real, Zay, all right, he come over the next day, he do a song for himself. Before you know it, every day, Zay, I'm talking about 7:30 in the morning. Zay, I'm up brushing my teeth, I'm finna come over. I bet. So we just making songs
he just caught the
every
bug.
day.
He caught the artist bug, yeah.
And I love making beats, and it's like, well, we just recording every day.
The typical studio session for rappers involved lots of smoke, liquor, and sometimes a variety of other substances. However, despite the Dotson family's basement being filled with street dudes, when they crossed through the front door, everyone was on their best behavior.
The house rules Xavier knew, and no smoking was one of them, definitely in the house.
I'm thinking the studio, gonna smoke, gonna drink. So I fired it up in there, and she can't fight it down.
No drinking in the house, no weapons, no cursing.
My dad was just retiring from the military, so he was militant. He the guy to come down and say, hey man, this ain't no studio. Hey, I come and turn all this stuff off. So you almost had to tiptoe around my dad because, he didn't really get it, at first.
Out of all the rappers in the studio, Zay established a bond with Gucci Mane that would become one of the most legendary and iconic duos in hip-hop history. But before we get into that, I want to thank W Energy for sponsoring this documentary. Power up with W Energy, the ultimate energy drink mix that keeps you charged and focused. Get yours at w.gg using promo code Nicholas Bowling or use the link down below. Now let's get back into it. Well, we weren't thinking that we'd be in the game for this long, or have people looking up to us, or have people mimic our style and sound, and that we'd mean so much to the game, end quote.
Man, y'all know I mess with Zaytoven, we go way back.
While others were making trap music at the time, the combination of Gucci and Zay produced a sound that just hit different and is still unmatched to this day.
When I started doing music with Gucci, it was a birth of a certain sound of trap music. It's me making a beat in 5 minutes. The bass might be too loud, you barely can hear the clap, the piano's too low. Gucci saying stuff that you can't hardly understand. He off tempo. They added a certain street to it, a certain trap to it. It sound rough.
Over the years, Gucci Mane has dropped over 70 projects, with most of them being produced by Zaytoven. At one point, they were in the studio so much they were pumping out 5 songs a day like it was nothing.
Well, that's what we do, man, and especially in Atlanta, I can speak for a lot of us in Atlanta, all we do is we like to work. So if you like to work all day, every day doing music, because this is what we love to do, we banging out, 5 to 10 songs a day. And we don't want to just let these songs just sit around. So we want to put them out. And once you put them out, that's old. So now you got to do some more. So it's just, we continue to work every day. And, the mixtapes is our outlet of expressing our music.
Their first big hit was in 2004 when So Icy hit rotation.
He called me. I was at the barbershop cutting hair like, Zay, man, Young Jeezy want to do a song with him. I'm not even really familiar with Young Jeezy like that at the time. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm finna leave the barbershop, come make a beat. Then we're going to go down to the studio and meet Jeezy. We did that, went down to the studio, did the song. It was both of their first big hit.
Rapper Gucci Mane was sent to jail today.
His real name is Radrick Davis, and today a judge ruled Davis violated the terms of his probation.
New developments today involving a Georgia rapper arrested for an alleged assault. Gucci Mane is in the Fulton County Jail this afternoon after a judge denied bond for him today.
After his last stint in prison for pleading guilty to possessing a firearm by a convicted felon, Gucci Mane completely changed his lifestyle. Losing 100 pounds and cutting out drugs was such a big transformation that some people say that this is actually a Gucci Mane clone.
I think it's amazing that they even were able to make Gucci Mane.
Right, because they cloned him.
Yeah, I like new Gucci. I like second gen Gucci.
Second gen Gucci. Okay, so Gucci was the first hip hop clone, but you're the second.
Maybe if there's others, I don't know.
Personally, I'm proud of Gucci. I don't know of another rapper having this big of a health transformation and keeping it that way. But I do find it funny that when a guy turns his life around, some people immediately turn to the clone theory instead of just being happy for the guy.
People thought I was a clone, they heard me speak proud. Convicted felon work to me, I'm a well-known.
Now, Gucci doesn't directly contribute his lifestyle change to Zaytoven. However, it's hard to imagine that Zay didn't play at least a small part in positively influencing Gucci. Although Zaytoven is known for his gritty trap sound, unlike some other producers, he's extremely versatile. The prime example of this is when he produced Papers for Usher in 2009. The song was a complete smash hit, charting number 1 on the R&B hip-hop Billboard chart and number 31 on the Billboard 100. But not only did it chart, Zaytoven ended up winning a Grammy for it.
At the time, I did a song for Usher. I never met Usher. I did the song with Sean Garrett. He writes for Usher a lot of times. So it's like I was happy and I'm excited about it, but I was more excited when OJ the Juice Man made the trap say, hey, is number 5 on the chart. You know what I mean? Just for it being such a big song. It meant more to me because these are guys that, we ain't have nothing. We in my mama basement just trying to make songs and, it blows up. I felt like when I did the song with Usher, it don't matter who would have produced the song, it's gonna go number 1 anyway, because it's Usher already,
With multiple Billboard chart hits and a Grammy in hand, Zaytoven was staying humble and even continuing to cut hair at the barbershop.
And you know how it is with this music stuff, you can be a one-hit wonder, your time could come and go just like that.
Yeah.
So watching my mom and daddy get up and go to work every day, I didn't put all my eggs in, I done made it in music. This ain't enough money to make it in music, really. Right. I made it, maybe when it's all said and done, about $100,000 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's more than what my parents ever seen, what I ever seen. But this ain't enough.
This ain't
I
gonna
can't live
sustain
and
me.
die with
Yeah,
this.
right.
So I'm at the barbershop. I'm still cutting hair at the barbershop every day, sun up to sundown.
So Icy's burning the streets. You at
It's
the
the big
barbershop.
#1 song on the radio, but it's like I'm still at the barbershop.
Usher was so impressed working with Zay, he asked him to produce a whole album.
All I know is I got the phone call and like, Zay, man, would you be up to doing album with Usher?
Yeah.
What you mean? Will I be up to what kind of question is that? He want to do an album with me? I ain't have my tag on the first song we did on Papers. You know what I mean? I wasn't even big enough to have my tag on Papers.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do a project with me? When I need to fly out, I'll come out there today. You know what I mean? So I fly out. It was like about 5 days, after they set it up, we in the studio. And I remember being in the studio with Usher like, dang, bro. We ain't never met each other, nothing before.
Oh,
we did a #1 song, but we ain't never met each other. We ain't never talked to each other before.
Hit.
Versace.
After hit.
I know where I'm from, and I got used to this.
After hit.
Quarter pound, half a pound, whole pound, okay.
Zaytoven has worked with the best of the best in the music industry over his legendary 20-plus year career. Nowadays, you could find Zaytoven spending time with his beautiful family, still playing in the church choir, still making hit records, and even making films. For more hip-hop documentaries, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a like. Peace.